Hello, everyone. It's Sarah from DBC, and I'm our Deputy Minister for Digital Communication Design, and I'm here with Laine, our Deputy Prime Minister for Growth. If you're new here, we are going to share a bit more about what DBC is and what we do here in a few minutes. But first of all, we're a remote design and branding agency, which means I'm especially excited to kick off our first virtual chat today. My goal in talking with a lot of different people here at DBC is to let us all just have some fun internally and really get to know each other, but also share with external audiences and new people online what DBC is, the uniqueness of working with DBC, who we are as a business, and also just share some interesting behind the scenes, some brand expertise from all the really great people that we have on the team here. So, Laine, can you kick us off and just share a bit about what DBC is and what you do here?
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. So DBC, we're a full service creative branding agency. So that goes from developing your brand strategies to delivering awesome creative. Like Sarah mentioned, I am the Deputy Prime Minister of Growth. So I am responsible for welcoming all of our new citizens to DBC, monitoring their projects and making sure they are fulfilled successfully. And continuing to foster those relationships with all of our citizens throughout their entire lifetime at DBC.
Awesome. So, can you tell us also a little bit more about how you found DPC and your professional background that led you to this role?
Yeah, sure. So my background is in tech sales before I moved over to creative. And my most recent company I was with was a video tech company. And that was kind of toward before COVID hit and during kind of the beginning of the pandemic. And DBC was actually one of my clients. I worked with Carlos to develop a virtual event for one of DBC's clients. And he brought me over to come run growth for the organization.
Nice. Moving forward with a little more like specific things that we work here with at DBC, what are some of the your favorite or best kinds of projects and industries to work with? I know you've worked in tech, but does that also mean that's what you enjoy working with here at DBC, or is it something totally different?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the thing I love about DBC or working kind of in creative, particularly at DBC, is that we're totally industry agnostic, right? So we work with a wide range of clients across all different industries. And we've had some really exciting clients like Spotify and Bank of America and kind of these really big enterprise organizations. And that is like sexy and awesome, right? But I find that some of my favorite projects to work on are in the philanthropy space. We work with a lot of nonprofits. I've always said the cornerstone of my work ethic is empathy. So being able to help organizations help others is what I really take pride in.
Yeah, it's so cool to hear that you also really enjoy doing the philanthropy work too, because my background was in nonprofit and DBC's involvement in these huge enterprise things, but also really focusing on great branding and design for nonprofits, which I feel like is particularly overlooked when you think about all the different industries. Like nonprofits are kind of pushed to the side a little bit when we think about like priorities
Yeah,
that way. So when I saw like when I was looking for a new position, I saw the DBC was doing that. It's like, oh, this is a place I want to be.
yeah, I love that.
Yeah. So moving, I guess, like back in time a bit, I'd love to know more about what you wish you had known earlier in your career now that you've had this variety of experience.
Yeah, okay, that's a great question. I think early on in my career, I was really focused on making the most money I could, right? Like most broke out of college students. But I wish I had focused a little bit more on education and like mentorship when I was younger and kind of taken advantage of those resources around me. Um, because something I've learned, especially moving from tech to creative, is uh, there's always room for more knowledge and more education and growth. And what's especially cool about working at DBC is that we have an environment that really fosters that. So I feel like with all the designers and for me kind of in on the business side of the organization, like we're always offered or allowed the flexibility to like learn a new skill, take courses to help us learn a new skill, whatever that may be. And again, this is an environment where we really encourage that. And now I'm 10 years into my career, and I wish I had been in environments that encouraged that, 10 years ago.
Yeah, that's incredibly well said. I think I've been particularly grateful personally or particularly blessed to have that same level of professional development in
Yeah.
all the positions that I've had so far. And I'm also like a little younger in my career, so that has just like set the standard for me. I'm like, this is how it needs to be everywhere. And when I hear stories from people that that's not the case, I can't even imagine it. It's just
Yeah.
such an odd concept to me. I'm like, of course you can like learn whatever new skill you want to. Like that's just how the world works, but it's
Yeah.
not necessarily.
Yeah, and I think early on too, and kind of in more of those junior roles, you kind of box yourself into, okay, I'm going to be a tech salesperson, or I'm going to be this and that in my career, and then, that can always change. So it's important to continue to, yeah, add to your toolbox.
Yeah. That's something I also have realized as I transitioned working at DBC is that the skills you have in the past that you don't think will do much for you in the future actually can be so much more helpful than you ever realize. And then you get to the point that you can actually use some random bit of information you learned 10 years ago and it's suddenly relevant again. And it's a cool,
Yeah,
like, full circle thing. Like, I've had that happen multiple times now, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is fun.
yeah, yeah, totally.
All right, so I want to move forward a little more and talk about specifically DBC, what you've done here, and the biggest successes you've had. I know you like working in not philosophy, philanthropy space, and you have the background in tech, but what is one or more of the biggest successes you've seen at DBC during your time here?
Yeah, so I am in charge of revenue operations, right, at DBC. And so at the time that I started here, it was really just Carlos and I. And we've been able to, over the course of 2 years now, grow our team from 2 full-time employees to over 15. And so that has to be my greatest success, or DBC's greatest success as an organization, where seeing all of these awesome new team members join the DBC city state, and thrive and take on a lot of new exciting projects. And I just hope that we can continue that growth, even exponentially over the next few years.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I could really feel the like genuine pride from you and Carlos, especially Carlos when he saw everybody in person the first time since you had hired everybody when we met in Toronto last July.
Yeah.
And it was like it was kind of cute for me to see as a fairly new person at that point. I was like, "Oh, like he really cares about this. Like that's so
Yeah.
awesome. Like I'm happy to be here." Yeah.
Yeah. And especially, we're a fully remote team, right? And I, for a while, I guess I still am the only person in Los Angeles and on the West Coast. Now, or previously, mostly everyone was in New York because that's where the company was originally headquartered. And so some folks got to meet each other here and there, but I was way out here on the West Coast, and it wasn't until Toronto that, I mean, a lot of us got to meet for the first time there, but especially me. I mean, there were people I'd been working with for 6 months or a year, or, longer, and I hadn't had the pleasure of meeting them yet, so that was awesome.
Cool. So also speaking of all of the things we like about working at DBC, I also want to hear your thoughts on how DBC stands out as an employer in all the other ways
Mm-hmm.
and how it supports you as a full person.
Yeah. So DBC has done something really unique. And it's the way that we value diversity. sometimes I feel like diversity sounds like a little bit of a buzzword in bigger organizations, or it's a part of marketing but not really actionable like within the organization. And so at DBC, and I always make a point of telling all of our new citizens about this, is that every single one of the employees here offers something really unique in both their professional and personal backgrounds. And that was the first time I really experienced that at a company, as like a really sincere value. Yeah. And then how has that kind of supported me wholly as an individual within the organization? Like I mentioned, just a lot of flexibility about learning new skills, and being myself. And again, we really got to know each other in Toronto, and having like a lot of fun together. So what DBC has offered me is like a genuinely fun environment where I feel valued as an individual, and all of my uniqueness and everyone else's is sincerely celebrated.
Definitely. I could not agree more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like all of this, like, we've talked a lot about what our experience has been internally and how much we enjoy being here. But I also want to hear from you from the citizen perspective. First of all, talk about like what a citizen is and why I even just used that term. But what DBC, like working with DBC, what that looks like from the citizen side of things.
Yeah, so I guess we didn't really touch on what the city state actually is yet. So DBC has adopted this city state structure, and what it really encourages is like the democratization of design, where everyone has a voice, everyone's perspective is welcomed, and so that's the citizen perspectives as well. So we refer to our clients as citizens of the city state. We all have these really cool titles, as well. That's why I'm the Deputy Prime Minister of Growth. And so what we want the citizen experience to be like is that they're part of a community. And maybe our citizens come to us for one particular deliverable, a new logo, a new campaign for a new product that they're launching. But we want them to see DBC as a plethora of resources for anything that they need, and really celebrating creativity and trying to achieve or get to that end goal, or achieve whatever brand initiative these organizations are really looking for. So DBC should be a fun and supportive and resourceful and easy place to be for citizens. That's something that I like to say, and Carlos and I like to say during all our sales meetings, is, look, I hope this is the easiest meeting of your day. We're not curing cancer, we're delivering awesome creative, and we want that to be reflective in every experience and every touch point that citizens have, with DBC in the city state.
Yeah, that's awesome. So this has all been super helpful. It's also just been fun to like get to chat with you again. I always just want to like talk to all of the fun, cool people at DBC besides just like our daily stand-ups and things. So
Yeah.
I hope that this series is helpful, fun, educational, a way to pass the time, something random to watch on YouTube if you just wanted to hear a little more about branding and design, whatever you're here for. We're glad you're here. So I want to take us out with a rapid fire round of some super easy, I think, questions for you. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, favorite memory of Summit Toronto?
Okay, this is easy answer for me. Okay, that's not rapid fire. This is an easy answer for me, but obviously it's karaoke, and anyone who was there knew that I really enjoyed the karaoke.
It was very obvious, yes. Your favorite place on the internet?
Oh, I think TikTok has sucked me in. I spend far too much time watching videos on TikTok.
Yeah. Favorite place in real life?
Being outdoor with my kids.
Do you listen to anything while working?
What is it? Lo-fi hip hop beats to study to. The live stream on YouTube has been my go-to for like 10 years.
Wow, cool. Best book you've read recently?
Sarah, I've been reading a lot lately, a lot of like mystery thriller novels. But one book that has been the most helpful to me lately is actually The Broke Millennial. I did not grow up with a lot of financial literacy. My older brother gave this to me. It's great. I recommend it if you're a millennial and don't really know what you're doing.
You were so prepared for that. All
I
right.
did.
Okay, final three. Favorite podcast?
I listen to a lot of comedy podcasts. I'm going to plead the fifth on that one.
Okay. Favorite music?
Music, I have a pretty big vinyl collection. A lot of it is like funk, soul, disco, hip hop.
Okay. And your favorite movie?
My favorite movie? I think the one I've seen the most, which might sound really random, but we're just coming off the holidays, is It's a Wonderful Life. And I watch it every single year around the holidays. So I'd say that.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's very cute. All right. Well, that was our rapid fire. I've gone through everything that I wanted to discuss with you. Is there
Yeah.
anything else that we feel we should tell the people?
Um, you know, DBC is an awesome organization to work with, and if you want to work with us, hit me up, Laine at studiodbc.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone.
Yay.
See you later.